What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions in Dungeons & Dragons. And with me this week, again, is the amazing Lauren Urban!
Again, for the second time.
Well, actually, no, this is the third
Well, with you,
time,
I don't count those other times.
Oh, no, because we did the one that you were on, where we talked about Bag of Holding, and then we did one about the D&D movie, and now we're doing this one.
Oh, shoot,
I know.
right. Okay, but this is the first
you still
time.
got the high score.
This is the first time that I'm on to actually talk about the champion that I have in the game.
It's true.
So none of those other things count.
That's fair. Lauren, if somehow people don't know who you are you for those fine folks?
I am the content coordinator here at Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. You can find me on the social medias as Obaloran. I do basically a lot of the written and or video content that you see. I have some sort of hand in it, producing it, being on it, being behind it, doing voiceovers for it, writing it, all that kind of stuff. And then outside of that, I also do a bunch of TTRPG streaming, mostly. Most people probably know Children of Éarte on Tuesdays with the amazing Deborah Ann Wall as the DM, and we just finished episode 30 this week. And
30?
Yeah, it's been a whole year.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
We've got our end of the year Q&A coming up next week, but if you're interested in catching up, it's all on YouTube, and we'll be back at the beginning of the year for more, and I'm excited.
That's fantastic. I didn't realize it'd been that many episodes. Oh my gosh.
Right? This year has been a day in 3 million years.
Yeah, it's true. I did also want to note one of the other things that you do here, though. You're the voice of the Champion Spotlight videos.
I am the voice of the Champion Spotlight voice.
voice.
I haven't gone into movie phone voice yet. Is this the champion that you want to see? I haven't done that yet. I've been trying to
if we ever get a champion who's like just over the top, like theatrical and or they like plays and stuff like that, you should do like the movie trailer voice for it.
I'm gonna be honest. The one that made me the most nervous was Virgil, because the entire time I'm thinking, well, this is for Brian, aka Urban Bohemian, who has this amazing deep announcer voice, and I'm like, how am I supposed to do a voiceover for his champion when that's like, I should just have him come on and do the voiceover for his own champion. Whoa, it's so great.
Brian does have a good voice.
It's so good.
I do want to note, we are live right now, so you can put your question with question, colon, and then your question, and we'll talk about those at the end for anything that you would want to ask Lauren during this episode. And I think we should start off. You said that we were talking about your character for once on here. Orkira got a new skin recently. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, here, wait, because I'm producing, I can also do this. I can also be like, there she is! Look!
I'm gonna bring up the stream so I can see it.
Yeah, so action figure Orkira is part of the several skins that came out to celebrate Warduke, because Warduke was an action figure. And so action figure Orkira came to be, and the best thing about action figure Orkira is what I've been calling the Ministry of Silly Walks that she has, because when you're an action figure, not all of your joints bend. And on top of that, Orkira was already a awkward creature, to put it kindly. And so having her in the formation with that skin, as everybody else is just kind of trotting along, and she's like, is just the funniest thing. And it brings me joy every single time. Plus the fuzzy hat.
Yeah, it's funny. The Orkira was actually the first of the action figure skins that I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I thought that was such a brilliant idea. And one of the things I thought was the funniest, because all the action figure skins, if I remember correctly, came about because of Warduke. Mm-hmm. And the Friday that we put up the Champion Spotlight, someone on Reddit, you might be here in the chat or something like that, it was just like, there better be an action figure skin for this. And I was like, oh!
Listen, person from Reddit, you're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
And doing the Orkira one was just the icing on the cake. And if you haven't gotten the skin yet, I do highly recommend you doing so and putting Orkira in your formation and using her ultimate, because there may be something new in there as well.
So, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about that. In the planning meeting, it was me and V and Alexis talking about this skin, and V and Alexis helped a lot because I was a little brain frazzled at the time. And this came together relatively quickly. So it was one of those, hey, we're getting together tomorrow to talk about this. And so we were talking about, how she'd be dressed and what she would look like and how she would move and all those things. And then I don't remember who it was, but someone had mentioned, I had mentioned about how, well, instead of holding her Book of the Phoenix, she just should be holding a giant flaming marshmallow. Because why not? And then someone took it the step further and said, I wonder if we could change her ultimate to, instead of it being fire raining from the sky, being flaming marshmallows. And then it just spiraled from there. and it's beautiful. It is ridiculously beautiful.
Boy, I mean, that's why when I did we're gonna talk a bit about the one shot, but when we did that and Orkira, I had to have her do her ultimate. I mean, come on, gotta have flaming marshmallows falling from the sky.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Nothing like being thrown in the middle of playing one character to play your other character and be like, I can pull up this character sheet if you need. Here we go. It was so fun. It was super fun.
But yeah, we did a one shot last week to celebrate the action figure skins, which was one of the more interesting tasks I've been given here at work.
Yeah.
Of, hey, make a one shot with pack antics around toys, and I went, well, I mean, yeah, that's I can do that pretty easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I gotta ask though, did you expect to have to fight your own character?
Fight? No. I had a metagamey feeling just because of the nature of the game that Orkira might show up, but I honestly didn't think I would be fighting her. And in fairness, we really didn't. Like, spoiler alert for that game. Also, the dice helped. So, spoiler alert for that game, she attacked with her claws, which always fails every single time. That's not a thing she does. Or when she does, it fails. There's always like a role-playing reason that she'll go claws out. And so, yeah, failed miserably every time. Or I think she hit once and it was like 2 damage. It was something really, really low. Also, that's just what happens. And then she just got disassembled, which was amazing and also horrifying. So yeah, it was a weird experience for sure. It's not the first time that I've been playing a different character and have had to either talk about or reference Orkira, but that was certainly the closest that has ever happened for me actually fighting my own character. That was also why Tyrell just focused on Warduke, because I'm like, if I gotta fight Orkira, that's just gonna be way too meta for everybody.
Multiverses will collide. Things will explode. It'll be a bad time for everyone.
Yeah. Just kind of keep it simple. Let everybody else deal with her.
Yeah. Oh god, that game was so much dang fun though.
Oh, yeah.
I one of the ways that I got inspired for it though was I actually pulled up on YouTube a compilation of 80s and 90s toy commercials.
Oh. Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
So I watched like 7 minutes of one of those and it was just like, okay, I think I've got some ideas.
Yeah, that's my childhood right there.
Right?
Like, it's, Kung Fu Grip and all that. I had a bunch of those action figures too.
Oh yeah, that was one of the weird ones. Is like seeing toys that I had. I'm like, oh, I remember that one. Oh, I had that one. But it was also weird seeing ones that like I didn't recognize. I'm like, I would have totally bought these He-Man figures. Where were these?
They probably came out in limited markets, or you just never saw the commercial. I mean, this is pre-internet days, everybody. Yeah, I mean, I had several G.I. Joe. I had a whole bunch of Transformers. I was super into the Transformers. And those are really cool toys because not well, but they did transform. So that was cool. And my favorite is this is going to be my age. I had Voltron. Actually, no, they just put out a couple of years ago that updated animated series. So people might know what Voltron actually is. Yeah. So it was all 5 of the individual lions. And then you could assemble them into Voltron, which was super cool. Except I liked them in lion form way more. So they were always out as lions. If I had one toy from my childhood that I could have right now, again, it'd be that Voltron set. It was so cool.
It's so funny you said because mine would be my Power Rangers Megazord, the original one.
Ooh.
And it was the same deal. It had all the different Megazords in it, and it built up to be the giant Megazord. Oh, man, it's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then, every year you have to update them because they come out with, new outfits. And the outfits are never, these weren't Barbies and where you could actually undress and dress them. It was like, if you had a humanoid action figure, let me put it that way, it was all just sewn right to the skin or plastic wrapped right to the skin. And so it's like, well, but I want Snake Eyes, except in Snake Eyes' snow outfit. So I guess I need to ask Mom if I could buy a second Snake Eyes. Which always went over real well.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, you don't understand. Like I know it looks like it's the same one, but this one does kick action. The other one did punching action. They're very different things.
Yeah, yeah. And look, this one's in all black, and this one's in all white, and like
this
totally
Raphael
different.
is in a trench coat for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the Ninja Turtles. Damn.
Oh, the Ninja Turtles. Yeah. But the one that like absolutely stood out as I had to do it was the Creepy Crawler's Oven, because I'm like, well, I can just do whatever I want.
I totally thought for a moment it was going to be an Easy Bake Oven, which I did have when I was a kid. And yes, I have burnt myself on that. And yes, that used to be a toy in the 80s that you could have. You could just have a small oven that would cook things.
I wanted one so bad I never got one. Like that was the kind of like the funny thing about me using is I never had one.
Yeah.
And especially when the cartoon came out, it was the weird like monster humanoid things that you could do. You could put the creepy crawlers goo in and everything. I wanted those so bad, but my parents didn't trust me with that.
My parents shouldn't have trusted me with that, but I was apparently a good enough child that they thought they should. But you know what? No child has enough dexterity to be able to work with an Easy Bake Oven and not get burnt. I also had some of those, like, the science kit experiment things for kids, which also probably had chemicals in them that kids nowadays shouldn't be playing with. I don't remember. I just remember jars of chemicals and putting stuff together and smoke happening. I was probably supposed to make a volcano explode or something. Like, that was always the thing. Make the miniature volcano so that it explodes. We didn't know about Mentos. Mentos wasn't even a thing when I was young. Oh, I'm old. Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, my old. Okay.
Anywho,
Anyhow.
let's talk about one shots real quick because
Wait, can I talk about Orkira's hat first?
Oh yeah, talk about Orkira's hat. Go for it.
Because I noticed Jordan. First off, thank you, Jordan, for moderating and taking a look. Because I'm producing and guesting and chatting with Trevor and doing a bunch of stuff behind the scenes. So I appreciate you so much.
Lauren is the best.
I'm just the busiest. I don't know if I'm the best, but I'm busy.
You are.
So I promised a couple people that I would tell the story about the fuzzy hat because it's been a little while. And if you didn't watch D4, then it might not have made any sense why I suddenly had a fuzzy hat. Orkira was a year-long guest on D4. And while she was there, at the beginning of the year, they spent a lot of time in Waterdeep. And the rest of the time that she was there, she was traveling with the BFGs into the mountains. It was this long extended trip into the mountains. Mm-hmm. We were on a quest for V, for her character, not RV, but character V. And so we were going into the mountains. And one of the things that Orkira had never had a chance to do because she'd never stayed in one place long enough or been in a big enough cosmopolitan city that she had access to it, was get clothes. Like because you got to get it tailored and altered every time you want to get clothes for her. So, and she hates the snow. So hearing about this, everybody's picking up winter clothes, and it turned into this wonderful little moment because V was trying to help everybody get clothes. She's this Goliath barbarian who is ridiculously strong, but also like a noble fashionista. So totally into fashion and all that stuff. And so she knew all the tailors in town. So there's this moment in where Orkira's just trying to find something because it's going to be cold and everything. She's like, I know everybody. Let's get you kitted out. It's going to be great. And at the time, I had just come in, the show that aired during, it was like January, February, and I'd run in from something else that was going on, like from outside. And so I just like taken off all my clothes, not all my clothes, all my...
all your winter clothes,
all my winter clothes, jacket and gloves, everything, thrown them on the floor, changed my shirt, and sat down to play. And one of the things I had was this fuzzy hat, because I have this fuzzy hat. It's not the red and black one that's in the thing. But I had it right there. So when we were talking about getting all kitted up in the thing, I just grabbed it and I put it on. I'm like, let's go. So it turned into, well, she has this fuzzy hat.
I've seen that GIF. I know that one. I've seen that GIF.
So, yeah, that specific GIF where I'm putting on a hat and then saying, let's go. That's from that moment and where Orkira has gotten her winter clothes. And then Luke, and I'm going to come over here so I can show this off.
Oh, yeah. I got to bring up the stream again so I can see this.
So my lovely husband, Luke, drew Orkira in the fuzzy hat. And so it became a thing. And it turned into, not only was it an important thing to her, it ended up being a plot device at one point because I had to prank Harold and I used the hat to prank Harold.
That's fantastic.
I was in Beyond Heroes at the same time. And at one point I almost lost the hat when we were encountering these giants, and one of them grabbed Orkira's arm and crushed it.
Ooh.
Because she was trying to hold out this hat to be like, hey, yeah, I've got a fuzzy hat. Let's be friends. No, I'm going to crush your arm. And in the moments afterwards, it was, I'm going to grab the hat with my other hand. Is the hat okay? And everybody's like, what do you mean is the hat okay? Your arm's falling off. I'm like, but the hat is important.
But the hat, though.
But the hat.
It's canonical.
So when we were making this character and we were talking about or not the character, the skin, we were talking about that classic thing of action figures of, well, they put out 4 of them all in different outfits. I'm like, well, can she have the fuzzy hat? Can she absolutely have the fuzzy hat? And they're like, yeah, sure, we can do that. So originally the full name of this skin was Orkira, now with fuzzy hat. Because that's how all of the advertisements used to be.
I strike Batman.
Exactly. Now with Kung Fu grip, but now with fuzzy hat. So there you go. That is the story of the fuzzy hat. I do actually have a tartan fuzzy hat coming in the mail. It's just not here yet. Thank you for indulging me in that story.
Oh, yeah.
That's really the only interesting thing I have to say.
No.
I'll be going now. Bye.
Oh, my gosh. Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was one-shots. And we just did one last week, and we may or may not be doing another one next week that we'll talk about here in a little bit.
And by may or may not, we're doing one. I mean, when someone says we may or may not be doing something, chances are we're doing something.
But I wanted to ask you, how do you go about planning a one-shot?
So my gut is I usually lean towards ridiculous because most of the time when I'm doing a one-shot, or a lot of people when they're doing a one-shot, but me especially, they tend to either be charity focused, as in we're doing this one-shot to raise money for charity, or there's like another thing going on. And so the audience is watching something that pretty much needs to be a self-contained adventure. And especially if we're raising money for charity, they want to have fun. You know, it's very rare that people want a serious one-shot. I have run them before, but they're always kind of on request and for very specific reasons. I can think of 2 off the top of my head and the dozens and dozens I've run. So I always come at it from a place of ridiculousness. I usually ask the players first, like, are there characters that you've always wanted to play? Is there a setting you've always wanted to play in? Are there things you've always wanted to do? Because if I can do a little bit of it's twofold. If I can do a little bit of wish fulfillment in that moment, like if I've got 2 or 3 hours, why not? And then also it helps me with, you want to play on Radiant Citadel? Great. Now I can kind of focus somewhere. Yeah. I also usually put forth that the idea of like the oops all kobolds, oops all druids, those kinds of games. I started running those years ago. I got together an oops all clerics, which everyone said wasn't going to work, and then it worked too well.
Oh, yeah, it could totally work.
Yeah. There was a lot of pushback for a while about the everybody being the same race and or everybody being the same class of like, it's going to be boring. It's going to be boring. And I'm like, listen, let me prove you wrong. So I've run all clerics. I've run all Phoenix subclass clerics. I've run all...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that was a serious game, too. I've run all kobolds. I've run all druids. I've run a whole bunch of those style of games. And what I usually do is I throw them a bonus feat. I'm like, if you agree to get behind this idea, take a bonus feat to help with the delineation. And what I like about that is it also gives immediate group cohesion, because when you have a one-shot that is a bunch of people who've never played together before or don't play together often, or are people who play together often but are playing brand new characters, you want to be able to get in and out of the game super fast. And you want to be able to introduce the characters to each other and to the audience super fast. And if the players have an excuse for the characters to know each other beforehand, it makes a lot of that a lot easier. And so by saying you're all kobolds, or by saying you're all clerics, or by saying you're all whatever, that immediately brings to mind, oh, we're all members of the same order. Oh, we all live in the same town. Oh, we know each other because of bleh. So those are kind of my hardcore building blocks. And then food. I usually do something with food because food is funny. And that's kind of where I go from there. It's different every time, depending on when I've been asked and what the answers to all those questions are. I usually have a couple of random ideas rolling around my head that are usually not fully fleshed out, but like, oh, I really wanted to use this creature, or, oh, this thing came out and I really want to use it, and I haven't been able to do that in a longer term campaign that I'm in. So that's how it all kind of goes together.
Yeah.
And for charity one-shots, if I have total control over the charity one-shot and we're doing the audience can participate in order to affect the game, my absolute favorite thing to do, 100%, is one incentive that the audience can have that is a low enough amount of money that most people, like $15-20. And what it is basically a roll on a wild magic table, an original wild magic table that I have that is written so that it's not, oh, fireball, everybody dies. I've also done it with donate $20 and you can write out a tweet-sized event that will happen in the game. And then every time we reach a certain milestone, I'll pull something from the hat. So basically giving the audience a chance to affect the game in really distracting ways. And then I write an adventure that is like, you need to find the lost cat. That's it. That's all I write. That's all I do. Yeah. And then chaos just happens, and I let the players, I just let it all happen. So those are kind of my favorite games, are the ones in where the pre-planning is making sure that enough ridiculousness is coming from the audience and coming from the players that all I have to do is help make it fun and a story. Sometimes it's an actual story.
That wild magic table is something else. For folks who saw the one that I ran for Extra Life, Lauren actually sent over that list to me, and I went through and I made changes to select ones. I was just like, I don't want it to be exactly the same. And of course, the one time the table got rolled that entire game, Todd rolled the one that I was like, I'm just going to put something in here for me. And it was my player's freaking pets that showed up.
Beautiful, which is beautiful. Yeah, I update that list on a regular basis. I change things out, and it's a lot of fun. And it is, and I loved that moment when, he rolled on it and it was just like, oh, okay, all right, okay, this is where this is going. We're affecting someone else's game. Okay, I'm here for it.
So, okay, with that in mind, we said that we got another one shot coming up next week, and you're running that one.
Yeah.
But without, obviously spoiling anything or anything, what's going on with that?
So I've got 4 players in this one, you included. Yeah, I know, right? I'm trying to think about how much. Let me be honest. At this very moment, the plot and everything is still coming together because I'm once again doing that thing where I'm waiting for everybody to pick their characters. 2 people already have their characters for reasons that will become apparent shortly. And then 2 of the other players are in the process of picking. I will say that the title of the one-shot is called Overbooked. And
I didn't know that. I like that.
It won't be a direct... it won't directly tie into any other one-shot adventure, but it has threads. So if you haven't watched... let's say the Vecna one-shot that I participated in, or I'm lost the name of it. Return to Sender. If you haven't watched that one, you don't have to watch them. in order to appreciate everything going on in the game. I'm just saying, if you do, it'll be more fun.
Well, actually, I think we can. Of course I endorse go watch both of those games because Aaron ran an incredible Idle Champions Presents with Vecna Lives.
Yeah.
And I ran something for Return to Sender,
You
but the
also
players
ran-
were spectacular.
You also ran an incredible game. Those kind of games, especially one-shots, are... I mean, D&D in general is a collaborative storytelling experience that the DM participates in. But I think in a normal campaign game or a smaller campaign that isn't a one-shot, the DM has slightly more guidance with things that are going on. But when it's a one-shot, at least in my opinion, the DM is kind of along for the ride.
Yeah.
And you're literally there to help make fun happen, not necessarily to help make story happen. And then like Deus Ex Machina at the end if you absolutely need to, because no one cares because it's a one shot. They're not there for hardcore drama or things that really, really make plot-wise sense. They're there to have fun. So I feel like, especially in those one shots, DMs are even more of a participatory player in the game, in the actual how the game turns out, than in a regular campaign, because you kind of literally are just a player who happens to be in charge of the roles.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say though is I think we can save some people some time, because I know people are busy. We're busy. We understand how that is. You got a clip handy that can show off maybe who Aaron's playing?
Oh yeah. So for those of you who want to know what character Aaron is playing, here, watch this. You don't have to eat people. It's fine. We got rid of the undead. Come on. Because I think she recognizes a mimic when she sees one.
The mimic kind of pulls itself forward on its cover, sniffs that jerky, grabs it in one bite, chews it up, and kind of scurries back as if observing you.
Yeah. We're just passing through. You're doing good. You're protecting all the books. You super surprised us. I mean, I had no idea you were right, everybody? No idea you were here.
No,
really,
not at all.
Yeah, really good
Pretty
mimic.
little book.
Yeah. But we gotta go take care of all the bad people.
It hops forward a little and opens its cover, and you see words appear on the flyleaf. It says, "You're not book stealers."
No.
We're book givers
Mm-hmm.
from back there. If you just were with us a few moments ago.
It hops a little closer. It says,
They're looking for something. I bite so big.
Oh
You-
yes.
pulls that last bit.
Very, very good. Do you know what they're looking for?
It opens again. It says,
They whisper.
whisper. So it repeats the whole page.
Do they write out whisper in all caps? Whisper.
It's very agitated.
Very loud
Mhm.
whispering.
Very loud.
The page clears, and then two words appear in quotation marks. Vecna lives.
I'll look down at the mimic. Is there a book on Vecna here?
So many books.
On Vecna?
I can't read.
Oh.
You're doing a very good job of writing, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very impressive,
Yeah.
honestly.
It seems inappropriate for me to read other books. It's like pulling guts out.
Yeah, Aaron is brilliant.
Oh yeah.
And that moment right at the end of like, I can't read, killed me. I was just trying to keep a straight face and continue the scene. Like, when I have to keep a straight face when something's going on, I'm trying to stay in the moment. I end up on one leg and my other leg is just shaking under the table. And so if you see me leaning to the side at any point, that's just my way of being like, I'm gonna stay here. But yeah, Aaron created this adorable little baby book mimic that showed up in that game. And so yes, Scribbles, the baby I don't know if they're baby. Candlekeep mimic.
Yeah.
That's what she's going to be playing, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait, because also that voice is just adorable.
Real quick before we're talking more about next week's one shot, we're actually gonna do a giveaway real quick. Jordan is gonna start that up here in the chat in a moment, and the code is going to be Fuzzy Hat. all one word. I don't know if capital first letter and capital first letter of hat matter, but yeah, there we go. Got in the chat there. So enter for that. You can win 42 chests of your choice, excluding Bahamut chests. Yeah, good luck. Hope you get some good chests there.
Yeah.
Okay, so while they do that, what we got another clip. Why don't we show who I'm playing?
Sure. This is all your fault. I'm gonna reach into my bag and I'm pulling out a tan bag that the two of you have probably seen before. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna reach into my tan bag of tricks. And DM, I'd like you to roll a D8 for me, please.
Ooh, I get to roll
Yay.
things.
Yeah. I figure that's a fair way
like
to do it.
rolling things. 8.
And I pull out a tiger. So you watch this tiny little bag.
Yes!
Like one of those space clowns with a good trick. Just giant tiger comes out, and I'm holding it by the scruff like it's a kitty, but is a massive tiger.
As you're holding up the tiger over the bag, Mixer comes in and goes, "Neat."
And go, hey friend, what's your name?
The tiger?
Yeah.
The tiger is gonna go. Actually, hang on.
Sorry, I've just thrown an NPC at you.
Now,
the tiger goes, my name's Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just started existing like 3 seconds ago.
Oh, you're supposed to get like a whole backstory when you start existing and everything. Did you not get that?
Whoa! I don't know what that means.
Well, you should have gotten more than just existence.
Oh. Well, apparently it messed up.
Aw. Well, can I give your life purpose?
Oh, that'd be great. That sounds so much better than non-existence.
Awesome.
I'm just learning what all these words are as you're speaking them. I'm pretty excited about it. So let's do this.
All right. Well, for now, just distract, and then we'll deal with the rest later. Okay.
All right.
I
Just let me know when.
I have faith in you, Jeremy.
I'm
this.
gonna be over here practicing while y'all get ready. Rawr. Rawr.
Jeremy's got this. Anything else we want to do before I send in the tiger, who's only going to exist? And I say this very quietly. The creature vanishes at the next dawn. Oh, how do you decide when dawn is when you're in wild space?
Just
We'll
point
figure
at
it
a
out.
star.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
How do you
Oh.
decide when dawn is when you're in wild space?
Ah.
I'm just gonna put that out there. This is fun. So yes, for all of you who've been asking for weeks now, right?
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit. It's been a bit. Jeremy, the baby tiger, is coming as a familiar to the game next week.
If this is the closest I ever get to having a character in Isle Champions, I'm very happy with it.
You know, when I asked you to roll that D8, I did it partially because I thought it would be more fair that way, but also because I've gotten into the habit on a regular basis in Children of Éarte. One of the things that Deb does with us, our DM, is we can ask, if she asks us to roll a perception check, roll a insight check, whatever, we can ask her to do the roll for us and just give her the modifier. And that's basically to help avoid metagaming, which I think all of us think we're pretty good at, but there's always that, roll a perception check. Oh, I rolled a 4. And then you get an answer from the DM, and there's always like in the back of your head, but I rolled a 4. And so having her roll the check means whatever she says is what I see. Whatever she says is what happens. And it's brilliant. And so I take advantage of that quite often. Like, it's gotten to the point where Deborah will ask me to roll a check and she's like, but you want me to roll it, right? And so, yeah, when that came up in the game where I'm like, all right, let's pull something out, it had turned into but why don't you go ahead and roll that so that I just get surprised.
And it's wild too, because I don't normally roll high, so I got the 8, and Jeremy existed.
Yeah, and that was the other reason I wanted you to do it is because whether on purpose or not, with the tan bag, the higher the number, the bigger the creature gets.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what, like, you know, I knew what I wanted to do with the creature, and it was going to be more advantageous to get the bigger ones than the smaller ones. So I'm like, I'm just going to put this in the DM's hands so that it's fair. And then you gave us a tiger. You gave us a tiger.
And I promise y'all, I've seen the Jeremy familiar. You all are going to be extremely happy.
Yep.
Because it's not just a tiger. There's more, and I absolutely love it.
And
but
we hope you enjoy both of those.
I know. I
familiars,
also
'cause they're
I
adorable.
just saw Scribbles yesterday, and it looks so good.
Right? It wasn't until I've started working for this company that on a regular basis I say that something is adorable that is something that I never would have said was adorable before. Mimics, mind flayers, Vecna's hand, the whole classification of things that I never would have said. That's super cute.
So cute.
And now it's all cute. It's all adorable. Every single one.
So yeah, next week we'll have a one shot going, and we'll see what shenanigans Scribbles and Jeremy get up to.
and two other familiars.
Yep, we got two other folks.
Yeah, two other folks. There's four of them. We're playing 10 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday. It's a 3-hour game, little break in between. As the classical music person in me goes, it's a 3-hour gig with a 15-minute intermission.
Before we get to the questions from chat, remember you can still put in your questions, then your question, and our awesome mod Jordan will grab and put in a little text doc. I did want to talk to you about charity games, because you've done quite a few of those, and I believe you've got a few coming up, don't you?
I have a ton, and some of them have been announced, and some of them have not. And so, pardon me as I very quickly go to my schedule. So I know the one that's happening this weekend has been announced. It's a Jasper's Game Day charity game. So it's one of those in where a couple of us were slated to play, and then we also had seats that people could bid on in order to join the game. And there's a whole bunch of games. Mine is the one that I'm in is just one of them. Forgive me as I very quickly scroll looking for this, because I'm in one this weekend, and then we've got our one shot, and then I'm literally in 3 more next week. It's a long weekend. It's so much fun though. And so the one I'm in this weekend, I'm playing in. And I know that Josh Simons is the DM, who some people might know from a bunch of different streams, but is also the community manager for Demi-Plane, and also a friend who I love and is adorable. Here it is. So this is from the Bard's Playhouse. They're doing a whole series of Jasper's Game Day shows. If you go look at Bard's Playhouse, you can find out a lot more. The game I'm in, Josh is running, and it's going to include Syrup, Persephoroth, and B-Dave Walters. So I get to play with B-Dave again. It's been a while. And neither of us are going to be playing the characters that we've ever played with each other before, so it's going to be fun. And then 2 members of the community who have donated both their time and their hard-earned money for an incredible cause. So that is this weekend. There's a bevy of games. I think most of them are 5th edition, but I think there's some other stuff in there. Just slates of awesome people running a whole bunch of games. If you're ever curious about how to run a charity game in a short amount of time, I think this weekend is going to be a masterclass in it, because literally it's dozens of people I know who we've all gotten a lot of experience doing this, and so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I didn't know that B-Dave was going to be a player in a one-shot, though. Get him untethered from a plot with a character. Oh, boy.
Right? I'm so excited. We'll have to see what he's playing. I bet you it's going to be something multi-class, but that's okay. I'm here for it. I'm super excited to play with Persephoroth, because I've been a fan of hers for a while, and she's been one of those in the TTRPG space and where we've kind of circled each other on projects, and where we're not, we haven't been on the same thing. And so this is my first time to play with her, and I'm super excited because she is hysterical. So my plan is Spoiler alert, I'm a druid for this game. My plan is to wild shape into a reindeer and then just not speak and let them all do all the work because they're amazing.
You're just there in a frame. That's all.
I'm just gonna make reindeer noises all the time. It's great.
I love it. Any other games coming up that you can talk about?
So next week, like I said, I have 3. One I actually have a session 0 for tonight, but I don't think I can do that. There is. You know what? I don't know if I can talk about any of them yet, but
That's
if you
fair.
follow me on my socials, there will be plenty of me putting it out there. I've got 2 on Saturday, the 17th, and 1 on the 18th, and they're all for absolutely excellent causes with some amazing people. I know this time of year is rough for a lot of people, both time and money, and so if you can't donate, if that's totally understandable. I've been in that position where I haven't had a buck to spare for anything. But if you can come on by and cheer us on, that is incredibly helpful. If you can help spread the word to people who do have the funds to donate, that is amazingly helpful. So I'm going to steal a little bit from B-Dave. You might see some big numbers being thrown around by very generous people who have the means. Don't feel like your little donation of little is not enough, or that if you can't donate, that's not enough. You being there to help support, you helping spread the word, it's almost more important because you could help find 2, 3, 4, 10, a dozen different people who will come on in and put money down. So anyone that can help out, thank you.
Any help is good help.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go over and see what chat has been up to while we've been talking, because somehow the show is already almost over.
Damn, I talk a lot.
we can both talk for long periods of time and just be happy with it.
And I like talking with you, so we could just be here for forever.
Yeah. This is The Mole's Revenge. I hope that's a title of something you're working on, because good lord.
I now need to wild shape into a mole at one point.
And just plot things.
I will have my revenge.
It should be like a sequel to the Atlantis movie. Get Mole in there. I love him. Question: does Lauren enjoy marshmallows as much as Orkira does? And have you ever had a genuine candied marshmallow plant rather than modern synthetic marshmallow?
Ooh, okay. I love marshmallows. Do I enjoy them as much as Orkira? No. Orkira is addicted.
She's addicted.
She eats way too many. And you have a bag that just makes them.
I mean...
Yeah. Also, it's something that she can set on fire and still taste good. So for her, it's like this uniquely perfect food. But I do really like them. I have had a variety of marshmallows. I have had both homemade marshmallows that are not the modern synthetic ones, as you say, that are just sugar and vanilla and a couple of the other things. They're hard to make by hand because there's a lot of whipping involved. So I've had those. And then if you're talking about actual, like the hard candies that you can get from the actual marshmallow plant, that I have not had. So for those that don't know, you know how sometimes when you're a D&D player or a DM, you go down the rabbit holes of looking into random things for your characters? Well, here's what I know about marshmallows. So marshmallow is a plant that has been around for centuries, and people have been using the creamy bits of it as candy for a while, but mostly hard candies as like lozenges and stuff. And this has been back in Egyptian days. And it's only been up until like the industrial era when people started having specialty chocolatiers and things like that, candy shops and everything, that they started playing around with all of these different flavors and things, and the idea of like adding sugar to this to get this soft confection. Because like I said, in order to do a marshmallow, you have to do a lot of whipping. And if you're doing that by hand, you can't do it very much. And so you need like an electric mixer. So I have not tried one, but I do know they exist.
See, that's a much better marshmallow fact than anything I would have. Like, the closest to a marshmallow fact I would have is that I didn't know that the Stay Puft marshmallows from Ghostbusters weren't real until I was 16.
Wait. You mean like that you couldn't actually get...
Yeah, like the brand Stay Puft Marshmallow wasn't real. I was just like, yeah, no, it's a brand. It totally is. And yeah, 100% exists. And I didn't know that until I was 16. So that was an actual good one. I did not know they came from plants. So I know. I feel I need a how it's made episode on marshmallows now. That's what I need.
I think there is something out there on YouTube. It's been a couple
I'll
years
find
since
it.
I looked that all up, but yeah, I went down this. So when Orkira got the bag that gives her marshmallows, I went down a rabbit hole of marshmallow facts, and yeah, that was a bunch of the things that I found out about. So, but yes, I can't say that I like them more than Orkira because I can actually not eat a marshmallow every day.
Okay, Cassius335 has a question I absolutely love. Would action figure Neb just be an Animorph? Also, shout out to Cassius for remembering that there were Animorph action figures, and they ruled.
Right? Okay.
They were so weird. It's like, okay, well, they already got Transformers. Can we just do that with kids?
I did not get into Animorphs when I was the correct age when I would have been the correct age.
Yeah.
I knew about it when I was in high school, mid-college, something where I wasn't the right age group for it. And it always kind of creeped me out.
Well, those covers are so unsettling. When you look at the middle one and like there's a teenage girl halfway into a pterodactyl.
And I love the idea. I think that kind of, obviously druids and shapeshifters and all that, there's a lot of us who love the idea of being able to turn into animals or other things. And so that is an appealing superpower to have. But the more I've learned about Animorphs, the more disturbing it is. But maybe that's just me.
As someone who kept up on it, yeah, it was really weird.
I mean, I heard about some of the dark places that book series goes. I'm like, oh, wow. Would she just be an Animorph? No. Because first off, funny, I love it. Second, for those that don't know, Neb is my character on Children of Éarte, and it's obvious by now she is a druid. Because for a while, our races are still kind of in question, but a lot of information about our classes, like we never told anybody outright. But 30 episodes in, it's pretty obvious she's a druid. If I understand it correctly, and this may be one of those technicality things, Animorphs, they can only turn into one animal, right?
No, they can turn into a bunch of them.
Okay.
If you stayed in the form for longer than I think it was 24 hours or it was some set amount of time. If you stayed in the form for too long, you were locked in it. And that was like one of the plot lines for one of the kids, Tobias, which the first time I heard that name, I thought it was so cool.
So it's like the opposite of a D&D druid, in where you get an hour or 2 or 3, depending on how high level you are, and then after that time, you're just back to whatever your regular form is. So yeah, I mean, knowing that, maybe. Maybe. Also, I'm very distracted by the idea of an action figure Neb. Oh, geez. Let's hope she survives long enough to become an action figure, because, oh man, she's squishy.
I just realized several of these are Cassius with action figure questions, which I'm here for.
right.
The Cassius' next question, I may have asked this before, but how would Kid Lauren react to, what is this? The Volcanicus? The G1 Dinobot combine? I don't know.
I don't know that specific one, but Dinobots are super cool. I actually remember watching that, I'm going to say cartoon, but what I remember is it being like early CGI.
Beast Wars?
Oh, that's Beast Wars. No, you're right. Okay, no, I mean, Dinobots are cool.
That was my jam.
Beast Wars are cool too.
Yeah,
that almost makes me want to watch the new Transformers movies because Beast Wars are in there. Not Beast Wars, because
so happy.
I don't think that's going to be a movie that is going to be amazing. But it'll be
no!
fun.
There's no way in heck a Transformers movie is ever going to be like the best thing ever. But I'm at least going to go see some things that give me some nostalgia hits.
I mean, I hope one of these days there'll be, we were able to get amazing Marvel movies eventually. It took a couple decades to get there,
That's true. Let's see. Cassie's next question is: are there other two overbooked characters, DM's characters turned PCs? Which one is the overbooked? You said.
Overbooked is the game we're playing next week. That's the name of next week's
Oh yeah,
game.
yeah. Oh yeah. So they're saying are the other ones DM created DM characters? No, they're gonna be other C&E folks playing other familiars.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that
they
you'll
are
just have to
having
watch
fun
next week.
picking them.
Yep.
It's gonna be a fun one. All right, we're last one we're gonna do is from Onyx Squared. Question: hi, Trevor and Lauren. Hello, Lauren. Can you talk about how you got involved with the Radiant Citadel streams you did recently? Is there anything else you can speak to in reference to Radiant Citadel? Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed them. I mean, I can go on and on about Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel. I think it's an absolutely fantastic book. I recommend it
Amazing.
pretty much everywhere, anywhere, at all times for D&D stuff. The short, ooh, yeah, I got mine back there. I don't know if you can see it. The short answer is when Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel was announced, I had posted on Twitter and then also gotten into a conversation with Elwarius, who is Mario Tegan, who's one of the writers, who later I found out was one of the writers on Radiant Citadel. I didn't know at the time. But I talked about how I wanted to run stuff out of this book because it sounded, I loved the idea of the hub world of the Radiant Citadel and then all these different adventures and all these different worlds, like being able to have a new setting, essentially. Like, it's not Faerun, it's not Krynn, it's not all these other places that we've been to before. And Mario had posted, I don't remember exactly what he posted about, but we got into a Twitter thread discussion of, oh yeah, so you start a campaign with a group of people on the Radiant Citadel who their goal is to put together a spelljamming ship. And they're having to go to all these different places, and essentially they're doing jobs for people in order to get the parts or the money necessary to put the spelljammer together. And that's how you go play all these adventures. And then once they assemble and they have the spelljammer, they need it because they're trying to get to Krynn in order to go do something on Krynn. And so now you transform from a Radiant Citadel campaign to a wild Spelljammer campaign for a little while, and then you eventually land on Krynn, and then it turns into Krynn. Because it was around that time when everything was getting announced.
Yeah.
And there were also some people who were basically talking about similar things, and then so I was tweeting about that, and it was all just kind of in good fun. And then I got approached by Jamie at Be Never Ending of like, hey, how serious are you about this show? And so I pitched it to him. And what I pitched was a slightly was basically Radiant Citadel plus the Spelljammer component. And for a bunch of different reasons, we kind of focused it down just onto Radiant Citadel. Mm-hmm. And I'd had the idea of getting the authors involved because a bunch of them, you know, there's so many amazing authors, and like having them play on each other's adventures so that you can show off not just the adventures, but the authors. And it kind of spiraled from there. And that's how it came to be, is literally just putting it out there into the ether and then finding someone who was interested and then coming up with a pitch deck and coming up with a list of people I wanted to play with, and, you know, all of the stuff that you need to do in order to pitch a show.
And it was fantastic.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work because we had a lot of moving parts. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what else, when you ask anything else to speak in reference to Radiant Citadel, it was amazing. I'm so glad I had the players that I did, especially the players who came in just for a couple of episodes or one. We had a fairly large rotating cast, which was exciting and terrifying, but also fun. And yeah, it was a great time. And I hope I get a chance to play more in that world I just think the actual Radiant Citadel is such a cool location.
I got to send my home group there for one part of their adventure. It was this in between part where like I needed something and they were just the right level for the last one. I went, okay, we're gonna do it.
Nice.
And it just doing that one part was so cool.
Yeah.
I that book is fantastic.
Well, and I'll say for like I like Spelljammer. I think going off and doing ridiculous things in space is cool, and I do like the Rock of Brawl. I kind of like these hub worlds where if you're in that level 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 range and you're just starting to go out into the universe and go to different worlds and things, that there is a hub world that isn't just Sigil now.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you've been looking at Spelljammer and you've been looking at the Rock of Brawl and like that's the appeal for you of the Rock of Brawl is like this is a hub for a whole bunch of adventures, but the Rock of Brawl is kind of seedy underbelly and you're looking for more the safe kind of
and Sigil has too many possibilities for everything else.
Yeah, and every once in a while Lady Pain shows up and just kills you, so you just have to be careful. But if you're looking for kind of the more safe alternative, if you're looking for the points of light, I'm gonna come here and this is home base. I mean, I'm 4th edition. Yeah.
We went the whole episode without talking about it until the very end.
I mean, that's all right over there. Sorry, B. Dave.
All right. Well, I think that is a good place to start wrapping up this episode. Lauren, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. If people wanted to find you and what you do, where could they do so?
So I am on most of the interwebs as Obo Lauren. I also do have a website. It's lauren-urban.com. where you can find out about my oboe playing, and I try to keep it updated with the D&D stuff, and I've got my socials linked in there, so probably, but Twitter right now, even though who knows what's going to happen in the next couple months, is still the best way to keep up with all of the stuff that I'm doing, and yeah, I'll post on there all the charity games, the actual information, when I know for sure that I can, and yeah, we've got one more episode of Children of Éarte, but it's our end of the year Q&A. So come by if you have any questions for us there. And if you're interested in getting into that show, you've got a couple weeks to catch up on the VODs on YouTube.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you to Lauren for guesting and for producing because you are a fantastic person. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. So until next week, take care of yourself.